One Friday night, I was sitting in my home and the sun had set early. It was in the late fall. It was cold and brisk outside, and I just was too frustrated to stay in the house, and I needed to get out. I took my 3 dogs with me, and I live in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. And as I was walking through the roads that went into this beautiful park, I had gone about 3.5 miles from where I lived, and it was amazing that the only light that illuminated the sky was the moon and the stars. And because the woods were on either side of the road, there was just no way to illuminate anything other than the path that I was on, because there were no trees. I was able to walk about 3.5 miles, and as I got to this park, there was a parking lot, so there were no trees in this parking lot. But as I turned into that parking lot, I slipped and I twisted my ankle and I fell. And as I fell onto the parking lot, I was on my back looking straight up. My dogs were all around me licking my face, and I was rubbing my ankle thinking to myself, how was I going to get home? Here I was 3.5 miles away, and I had no cell phone that I could call my friends. But as I was laying there, I wasn't particularly concerned, and my dog settled down, and I was staring up at this incredible sky. And as I looked up into that sky, and I saw the beautiful stars and the moon sitting there, and I started to contemplate just about the beauty of God and His provisions for me. And as I laid there rubbing my ankle, and I looked up and I just said to God, I go, Lord, if you're real, will you give me a shooting star? And as I was looking up in there rubbing my ankle, just waiting for the shooting star, of which I was confident that God could do, I started to have this communication with Jesus Himself, and He was saying, Mike, really? Do you need a shooting star for me to prove to you that I'm real? You know, didn't I move you from the city where you were living in homosexuality and sexual addiction for over 20 years? Didn't I take you out of the city and move you to the country? And He started to give me this list. One by one, these beautiful things that He had provided for me over the years started to come to the surface. And as I thought about that, I realized I don't need a shooting star for God to prove that He's real to me. And so just then I said to God, no, Lord, you're right. I don't need a shooting star to know that you're real. And what was so amazing is all of a sudden, whoosh, right across the sky went the shooting star. And how beautiful that God not only wants to affirm us, and He, of course, is our provider, but He also loves to shower us with these gifts. And so how like my Savior, how like my Father, to be able to not only challenge my thinking and to affirm me, but then He always gives us extra in the process as well. So once the Lord gave me that shooting star and that affirmation of His provision for me, I still had to get back home. And so I got up and I walked the 3.5 miles all the way back to my house. And as soon as I walked through the front door, my ankle swelled up, and I knew that I definitely had this sprained ankle. But how like God that He always makes sure that we make it home safely. And that's the kind of God that I can trust.